What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Best Family Homestead. I'm Aaron. I got Robert from Watch Your Step here with me, and yes,
it's been officially rebranded.
Wait, what news is this?
It is. I forgot to tell you, it's been officially rebranded. It's no longer Watch Your Step. It is now the Old Bird Farm Blog. I changed the name. It's youtube.com/the Old Bird Farm Blog now.
I like it. Even though you still gotta watch our step, and I'm still gonna be yelling it all the time, I think that is much more suited.
When I did the announcement, I said we're still gonna have to watch your step on the Old Bird Farm, but it is now the Old Bird Farm Blog.
I like it.
Yeah,
I like it. Well, we got home today with our new forks that are actually our forks, so I don't have to borrow from my awesome neighbor who's been letting me borrow his, but he needs his, and it's just doesn't make sense going back and forth across the street. So got our own set of forks. I'm down to just a few logs over there, and over the next week or two be getting the mill back to my dad, be getting all the wood moved over to start drying. Have most of the siding cut for the house, just those last logs should finish it up, and getting our solar kiln set up for the that big pecan tree and the wood we want to do furniture out of. Now, a lot of you have asked me about drying wood, how long it's going to take to dry. Well, it's not shiplap. The weatherboard siding we're cutting is only about a 1/2 inch thick. So as hot as it gets down here, with just a tarp over the top and wind blowing through the ends, that is going to be dry enough to use in just a couple months. And if you think about like when this house was built, they didn't kiln dry anything. You know, they're like, oh, you have to kiln dry it. This house has been here with this siding. Well, it has been here 194-ish years, 194 years. The siding was put on, we're not exactly sure, but pretty soon after the house was built, because it's never been chinked. So this siding was not kiln drying, and it's still here in halfway decent shape, honestly, just getting bad enough to fix after probably 140 years.
Yeah.
So I'm not worried about kiln drying the siding, because that's going to be fine. I just want to build my kiln for the pecan and the stuff we're going to be doing some furniture and tables out of. So getting back to what we were doing today, since I do still have some more logs, and you guys saw me talking with Papa Hugh on what we exposed here about, you know, having to cut a little bit of replacement log there. I want to go ahead before we're out of logs and I don't have the mill. I want to see what the rest of these logs look like, because these are all going to be getting insulated and chinked here within the next month or two before it gets hot. And before we finish the front porch, I decided to just go ahead and we'll get all the chinking done all at once. We'll just spend 2 days and get all the chinking done instead of trying to do it a piece at a time. What were you saying about the sports there, Robert?
So I think that originally this window wasn't here when this cabin was first built, and so I think that this window was added. Obviously, this is a newer window, double pane. It's been changed out, but I think this window was probably added in pretty early on. So when they added the window in, you see these blocks right here, and I pulled the one out from there because it was loose. But there's blocks between each of these logs here. And I think they were to hold the logs where they were supposed to go when they cut them out to put the window in there. It's just kind of a neat little thing to see that how stuff happened.
Neat little thing to see here and smack himself in the face with.
Yeah, that's pretty neat to see too. I might have to take a little bit of cover for that one. There we go. Let's see if I'm right. Let's see if it falls right on the ladder.
Oh, good. Good. We've taken a little look at this. So we had taken a little look at this with Papa Hugh when he was here, but now we can really see back in there. And this log, this was the trouble. One of the trouble logs we were really worried about. The one above, the one above where the window. So Robert's right. Originally it wouldn't have had this window here. So this one being the next full log above where they cut out for the window, it still looks really solid back in there. You can see some insulation. So this is fiberglass. So someone, and since the fiberglass is only shoved, what do you think about this, Robert? Here's what I'm thinking. Since this fiberglass is only shoved right here behind the chimney, so I think where the chimney which the chimney hasn't actually pulled away, but where the logs had moved away from the chimney, I think they just reached up in there and shoved insulation as far as they could in. Yeah. Because it's not all the way back. It's just a couple inches. It's just where they could reach, where they put the insulation in. I'm guessing that was done when someone first started working on the house, somewhere around, I think it was like 85 or 6, was really the first time the house had been touched. So we're going to readjust the ladders and the camera and see about maybe getting on up, because I'm really curious to see what the rest of the logs look like up next to the chimney. That's one thing that's worrying me, where you can see that doesn't look good right there under that window. We'll see what we got to do next to get or how those logs look up to there, because the logs go to about the bottom of the window and that's where they stop. He said, hey, let's pull some more of that off.
No, that is.
And I was like, no, Caroline wouldn't be happy. And Robert was like, no, she won't care. I'll tell her it was my idea. We're on real time. So
I know we are. Yeah, that is not what happened. Yeah.
Truth is relative.
You're gonna play that back. Edit this part out, of course. Play that back and be like, no, it was all Robert's idea. Oh boy. random piece of sawed wood that came out of the wall. It was up here, so it fell out of the wall. I didn't see where
Makes
it came
you wonder
from.
why.
Yeah. Is it cedar?
I'm not sure. It's hard to tell by looking at it. It looks like it might be. The bark looks similar to a small cedar.
Yeah. Well, it's another 200-year-old piece of wood here. Yeah, that's cedar. See?
Yeah.
Interesting.
I'll hand you that because I've got my ladder at a better angle here.
There you go.
Yeah, so now you can see at some point, and probably when they put this insulation in, fairly modern, you can start to see where, but now you can still see that there's still the cut nails in here. I think it's from, they only, probably because this upstairs gets so hot, you can kind of date it, because if you look from this window, which the window is modern, but if you look at the window, there's no insulation in there, so that siding had been on here for a very long time. Now you get up to, not this board, but this board. Now you start seeing some finish nails. Those look like actually air nail from a air nailer. But they're still cut nails, so maybe they didn't take it all the way off.
Well, if you look back here too, you've got a modern inside board. See that right there?
Okay, yeah, so that's probably still where they, we'll go inside and look, that's probably still where they replace these windows, if I just had to guess.
That was very graceful, Aaron.
So that's still not a new log, but yeah, you can see where they had taken some of the siding off. Yeah, these logs are old, like, because I was wondering about the second edition, but you can still see the hand-hewn marks.
Yeah.
In these logs, and you can still see the bracing here. You know, where they put the bracing. So there will be some work here. Again, the chimney, and I just sent some.
I just heard it fall all through the.
I'm gonna go from this board down.
Okay.
You can, if you want to, since my ladder's a little better, you can hop down so you don't get your face full and I don't hit you.
Okay. If he insists. Coming down off the ladder, I saw a piece of someone's dinner. That was a thin little steak they had. See? We'll put it back in there.
Makes me feel better. They are.
So, where's the floor at? Is it there?
Board.
Is that the floor?
Uh,
Well, I guess I can come around here and look.
yeah, look at look your head up under there and tell me.
That's where you have the insulation at under here? Is where the
insulation starts right here.
I mean, the insulation you put in is at the floor, right?
Yeah, if you walk on over, you look up, you'll see the last piece of insulation you see is where the gap is for the floor.
Okay, so that is
This one?
that one, yeah.
So that's the open gap right here.
Yep.
Yeah, that looks about right. And that's where the modern insulation starts, which I'm a little bit. I guess they must have went from inside on this insulation
I think so.
because there's still the old cut nails.
I think they did because it's got the new walls up there.
And you can see where someone used an air gun.
Yeah.
And then there's friggin', now I think someone a long time ago, so you can see how long someone's been working on this house. Here I got a big 10 penny, not even trying to pull this out. These are 10 penny nails, they're 4 inches long. Right next to a 140 or 50 year old cut nail, right below a nail from an air gun.
Yeah.
And I know why they probably did it was because that room up there does get really hot, which is one reason I wanted to do this, so I could re-chink and insulate. And especially inside the main part of the house, I mean, that's the wall. That's the interior walls of the house you see right there. So now by pulling this, which obviously siding did not provide any protection at all, but once I get back in here and start insulating and then chinking, I'll actually be able to cut down the draft especially when I get up underneath, and I might be able to somewhat heat and cool the old house semi-efficiently. So you can see how me and my dad have talked about this. You see how this log right here is twisted a little bit that way. This log's twisted a little bit that way. Not bad. I honestly am not even sure. I'm not even sure these logs have actually moved. I think this is how the house was built. They might have shifted a little bit when they cut this window out. Yeah, I guess right here you can see where it shifted just ever so slightly. Probably due to cutting out the modern windows. But for being 194 years old, these logs are surprisingly straight. And I want to get back here and look because I was worried that it would look horrible. I was worried these logs were going to be bowed like crazy. Yeah, so that curve in the wall is definitely from where they cut that window out. And you can see where some of the logs have shifted ever so slightly left and right. So what we're going to do is we're going to take 2 big pieces of like 1/2 inch to like thick C-channel, and we're going to put on the outside, and then we're going to run so that C-channel, won't move. And then starting at the bottom board, we will run big lag bolts in. And we'll run big lag bolts in, drill holes in the C-channel, the metal C-channel, and we're going to pull and straighten those boards back up where they're straight. And then we'll basically put new supports in there. And then once we do that, it's going to hold it up. Just get them back where they should be. But it's really not even nowhere near as bad as I thought it was going to be. I was worried that those logs were going to be totally rotten and I was going to have all kinds of structural, like worrying about the house falling down issues. Got to give it to them. I mean, it looks, and you can see the bottom of that window. I know from being upstairs in my daughter's room, that last log that's exposed, so the bottom of that window will be the last log. And from there up is just insulation and board and battening and the walls on the inside. I think And there's a modern souvenir you can see gleaming in my sunglasses. I left up there. I think once those logs are exposed on both sides, and then you can see the logs will wrap all the way around the front, I think it's going to be a pretty cool old house. You know, definitely one of a kind. Shows the age and, you know, how long this stuff has lasted. Get chinking in there. New siding here and on up. Get the chimney sandblasted. It's going to be pretty cool. Not bad to be 194 years old.
If I were driving by and didn't know, you know, whose house this was, just driving by and past it, I'd slam on my brakes and say, "Oh man, look at that old log cabin up there. That's awesome."
Yeah, I was really worried that the logs weren't going to be good enough to leave exposed. Now, on a side note, a lot of people have been like, "Oh, if you expose the logs, they're going to go bad now. The only reason they're in good shape is because they've been covered." Well, the thing is, this is longleaf pine. It's so old now, it's turned into fat lighter. Except for that termite damage, which is ages and ages old. Even a boring bee is not going to be able to bore into that. Now, I'm still going to use some sealer. I'm still going to obviously keep the wood sealed, or seal it, but to keep it preserved, you know, as long as possible. But as hard as that wood is, it's not going anywhere for the next 200 years. It's really not. I mean, it is here for the long haul. And you can't see like where they dig it out the window. You know, that window leans back a little bit. So as we straighten everything, then we're going to pull the window out, recase the window, put it back in so the window's square, and straighten those logs up as much as we can. I am so sure the logs are going to need straight. I think just recase the window and get it back up, and then put some new supports just like they did, but with some modern day fasteners. You know, just some blocks before we chink it with modern day fasteners, you know, some good screws. I don't think it'll go anywhere else. Hasn't went anywhere for 200 years. Maybe a couple of them top logs might need to be. But even then, I'm pretty sure all the settling, pretty sure all the warping and settling that you see here was there 100 years ago. I doubt much of it's modern. All right, guys. Well, there you have it. Obviously, my wife wasn't here, so we did a little more demolition work.
I wasn't here either.
Needed to take a break from the sawmill and needed to see if I needed to cut any more logs and see what else I had going on here to fix. So it doesn't look that bad. Still a lot of nails and stuff to pull, get in there and chink, a lot of work, but as long as I get, now that it's spring, as long as I get all this done by late June and get this re-insulated, get the other side off and get it re-insulated and chinked, it's going to be better inside than it was before, because it's going to stop any of the draft that we had. We'll be laying back up our rock wall where it's been knocked out, and that stuff's been knocked out for I don't even know how long. When they knocked, you can see this notch. I mean, they knocked that hole out a long time ago, because you can see where they notched into the log to put a support down to add the siding on down. That was not done anytime recently.
No.
So we'll just be laying back up, laying back up the rock under there, and then stay tuned, because probably Papa Hugh's going to be coming back down. We are going to be fixing this board. We are going to be cutting a new log from about here over, jacking everything up, and placing a new log in right here with a saddle notch, and possibly this part too. But other than that one log so far, other than this one piece right there, I don't see any other logs that are going to need to be replaced, which makes me very happy. All right, everybody, well, make sure to like, subscribe, and share, and stay tuned to continue seeing the progress as we reveal 194-year-old history and get it looking back at least partially like it was around 1830. See ya. Yeah.
That's not as bad as I thought it was. I thought it was gonna be like just.
No, there's a good. I see a good bit. The
Trying to get it out before it goes on down.
the bad part of overalls.
Yeah. Right.